Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about the remaining chapters from chapter 8 that includes the constructs, that selection statements, iteration statement, jump statements. These all comes under the chapter 8. The next one is the chapter 9, that is the functions. So before that we will move to the type conversion, that is the left out portion of last video, type conversion. When constants and variables of different types are mixed in an expression, then they are converted to the same type. That process is known as type conversion. That means converting a data type into another data type. So Java facilitates the two forms of type conversions. One is the implicit conversion, second one is the explicit conversion. So implicit type conversion means it is performed by the compiler. That means without programmer's intervention. Programmer doesn't want to interpret, or a programmer doesn't want to define to convert, or doesn't want to specify the particular data type to convert. That means automatically converted to the respective data type by the compiler. So an implicit type conversion is a conversion performed by the compiler without programmer's intervention. When we are applying this type conversion in an expression, it is a mixture of, or it's mixed of different data types like float, integer. Then the resultant has to be converted into same type. In that case, we are using, or we are referring the term type conversion. And the Java compiler, in the case of first one, implicit conversion, other name of implicit conversion is known as type promotion. So implicit conversion means without programmer's intervention, that is automatically done by the compiler. It converts one data type into another data type, and it is known as implicit type conversion is known as type promotion. Why it is known as type promotion means Java compiler convert all operands upon the type of the largest operand. Generally, if it has an expression and it has two data types. Two data types means automatically compiler will compile to the highest one, data type of the highest operand. So it will convert into the highest or largest operand data type. That's why it is known as type promotion. In the word promotion, it is promoting from the smaller data type to the higher data type, or smaller to the larger data type. That is known as type promotion. So in an expression, some rules are there, conversion rules are there. If in an expression, or if either operand is of type double data type, means it will automatically convert. Other is also converted into double. If either operand is float, means other is converted to float. If either operand is long, means other is converted into long. Then both operands are converted into type integer. Otherwise, in the case, both will convert into integer. So this is known as type promotion, or it is known as implicit conversion. Implicit in the terms, it will convert the smaller data type to largest one. So how it works? We know 8 primitive data types. So from 8 byte to byte is converted to short. Short can be converted into int, and int is converted into long. Long is converted into float. Float is again converted into double. So this is the priority or type promotion order: byte to short, short to int, int to long, float to double. This is based on the range, it is not based on the bits. Always it converts based on this order. Type promotion means. And character is also converted into integer, that we have to write here. Char is also converted, means it is converted into integer. Okay. So this is type promotion, and this is the order how to convert. You can check some exercise questions also to understand it clearly. The implicit type conversion, wherein data types are converted into higher data types. That's why the data types are promoted. That's why it is called coercion. So other name of type implicit conversion is known as type promotion or coercion. That means it is converting a data type into higher data type. So the second one is the explicit conversion. Explicit conversion means it is user defined conversion. That means with the programmer's knowledge, or programmer has to indicate to which data type the given expression has to be converted. That is known as explicit conversion. The explicit conversion of an operand to a specific data type is called typecasting. So other name of explicit conversion is known as typecasting. So this is the syntax, general syntax to write the explicit conversion. This type operator inside in the bracket, then expression. Example, if you want to convert x plus y divided by 2, this is an expression, x plus y divided by 2, then we need to convert it into float, means we have to write that data type inside the bracket. So this is known as type operator, and this is the expression, and the resultant has to be converted into float data type. That is known as explicit conversion. Another one more example, if 3.5 is an integer float value, so we need to convert into integer, means we have to specify inside the bracket int, then the output will be 3. This is explicit conversion or typecasting. If you want to convert this 3 into float, means we have to write float inside the bracket 3, then it results as 3.0, like that. Okay. So this is known as explicit conversion. Explicit conversion means it is specified by the user, and other name of explicit conversion is known as typecasting. The next is the expression. Expression means it's a combination of operands and operators. It's a legal combination of operators and operands. Example, if you have an example like this, a plus b plus c. So a, b, c are the operands and plus is the operator. And this expression is classified into two types. One is the pure expression, second one is the mixed expression. Pure expression in the sense it has all the operands having the same data type, that is known as pure expression. Mixed means it has different data types. So as an example, just to consider these three variables belongs to integer, so 3 are same. So it belongs to the above a plus b plus c belongs to pure expression. Then mixed expression in the sense if we are declaring two variables as float a and b, a comma b, and integer c, again we are finding the sum a plus b plus c, means that is known as mixed expression, because mixed expression has mixed data type or different data type. Pure expression has same data type. So variable means name of a memory location, and constant means the value never change. If you want to convert a variable into a constant, means we can just use the keyword final. So these all I explained in another video. Very important 2-mark questions. Final and static, two keywords for how to use, how you will write for 2-mark question, and how will you write the program. That I will just watch it. Okay. And that operator precedence and operator associativity, these all you have to learn. Precedence means that is a priority of the operators to execute it in an expression, and associativity means if in an expression two operators having the same priority, then which one has to execute first, that is based on the associativity rule. So these all belongs to that particular chapter. Next we will move to the statements. Chapter 8, statements, control structure and scope. In that, statements included, the first one is the selection construct. Selection construct means it choose an alternative course of action depending upon a condition. 3 or 2, mainly 2 are there. One is if statement, another one is a switch case. In if itself we know that is nested if is there, next if else is there, else if is there. These all the concepts comes under the selection or conditional statement. That means choose an alternative course of action depending upon the condition. And you know these all things, just a revision. If how to write the statement, expression or syntax. If expression, we will give inside the brackets. Then if the statement is true means, if the expression is true means, the statement one statement inside the if block will execute, else it will comes to this else block. Is it? Yeah, if it is a single expression means we don't want to use these braces. If any multiple expression statements are there, example here, statement 1 and statement 2 are there, two expressions statements are there means you just close with the braces also. You should indicate with the same braces. If it is only one statement is there means no need to indicate that braces is okay, curly braces. So if the condition is true means it will execute the statement here, otherwise else it will come here and else statement will execute. Then second one is a switch case, switch of expression. Here we will give the expression, and here in this switch case we have to check about three keywords. Case is a keyword and expression one. This is given by the user, and colon is compulsory. What if the case expression 1 is matching means statement 1 has to execute. After the execution, break statement we have to give, the break will execute. Break means it immediately come out of this switch case. Then second case, case 2, case expression 2, statement 2, semicolon, break. The last one is a keyword, default here you see here. If there is no match given in that given cases means it will execute the default session. So here an example, int for this if else statement. If a greater than b means c equal to b, else c equal to a. So if we are giving 5, 4, then what is the value of c? A is greater than b. The condition is true, is it? The condition if 5 greater than 4 means condition is true. 5 is greater than 4, so it will execute c equal to b value. What is the value of b? C equal to 4, like this. This is if else. Then second one is the switch case. We are just giving a value int a. I am just giving the value 2. If switch of 2 means which case has to execute? Case 2 has to execute. System.out.println, it has to execute as subsidiary, perfect, then break statement. And one more case, if we are not giving any break here, in the first case or in the second case also we are not giving any break means that condition is known as fall through condition. There is no break or break means after the matching statement, after the execution of the matching statement, it will continue to the next case. So together it will execute, is it? If case 1 means, example, consider here we have break value, break statement we have given, and the output we have given as 1, case input we have given as, input we have given as 1, then what is the answer it has to execute? Jan, only Jan it has to execute, is it? Yes, if we have given the break means it will accordingly display Jan, then break statement will execute. That break statement means it will come out of the switch statement. Okay, here a closing brace is also there, so it will come out of the switch statement. So if there is no break statement, consider there is no break statement means how it will execute. We have given the input as 1 means how it will execute Jan, then Feb, then wrong input. Everything has to be executed, is it, together? That's why it is, that case is known as, or that situation is known as fall through situation. This is very important, fall through. In the absence of break statement, all the cases is expressions will execute. That is known as the fall through case. Next one is iteration or looping statement. Three types of loops are there: while loop, do while, and for loop. While means first we will give the condition. If the condition is true means it will execute the statement inside the block. After that we are just given that update expression also. In the do while means first do the statements or whatever statements we have given inside the do block, it has to be executed first without checking the condition. So do while means at least once it has to be executed. Then it will last only it will come to this while condition. And here one more point, while the expression should be terminated with the semicolon. This one you don't forget to write when you are writing program using do while condition should be terminated with the semicolon in the case of do while loop. Third one is the for loop. So for loop, initialization, then semicolon, test condition, semicolon, update expression, open the braces, whatever statements we are giving, that all we can give it. Example here, integer a equal to 1. I am just declaring a variable integer a equal to 1. So we need to increase the values. Just print 1 to 10 like this. Means what is the condition? A greater than or equal to, a less than 10. Till a less than 10, we can just print it. A less than 10, I need to print the value of a. So SOP of a I have given here. After this, what we have to give? We have to give the updated expression. What is updated expression? A plus plus. So how it will print? Closing the braces. So first one, what is the value of a? A is 1. So it will come and check here. 1 less than 10. Yes, the condition is true, so it will print 1. Then a plus plus, a is increasing as 2, like this it will continue till less than 10. 10 less than 10, no, the condition become false, so it will come out of this while loop. So this is the process of while loop. The same code snippet how to write in do while case. Do while means first it has to execute. Do SOP of a. So first it has to execute whatever condition or whatever things, it has to execute the statement inside the do block. Initialization value a equal to 1, so it will print 1. After that it will check the condition. What is the condition? While a less than 10 semicolon. If it is true means, the condition is true means again it will come here and execute the do statement. Yeah, here before that we need to give the increment operator or decrement here itself after the while. So it will increase, then it will come here and the condition will, statement will execute till 9 times. Is it 1 to 9 is the output. 10, that is the case, become false. The condition become false. So the same program, how we will write using the for loop. Rewrite do while into while for loop. These are the concepts you have to learn. For means int I equal to 1, we are initializing. Just a declare is enough, no need to initialize. Here declare int I semicolon, then I equal to 1, a you can give, no problem, I less than 10, I plus plus. So increment here itself in the statement we are giving. After that SOP of I, we are just printing the value. So this is the code snippet for the using for loop. Okay, these are the 3 looping concepts. And one more thing, do while means that is exit control loop. While and for means entry control means. Entry control loop. Exit control means at least without testing the condition or without the condition, without checking the condition, it will execute the statement at least once. But in the case of while and for means, the condition has to be successful, then only, if the condition is satisfied, then only the entry can be executed. That's why it is entry control loop. So the third one is known as jump statement. That means it can, whenever a jump statement is identified, a compiler can jump to that or a control, make the control or move the control from that particular position to the out of the loop. That is the jump statement. So first one is the return statement. Already we have learned, I hope. Return is the keyword using to return a value from the method. And one more thing, it is indicating whenever it is compiler is finding a return keyword, it will immediately exit that particular method. Second one is the break keyword. Here in the switch case also we have discussed. It terminates the loop in which it is present. That means it will exit from the current loop. Then continue means resumes the process by sending the control to the update expression. It can continue that particular looping statements, that is continue. So these are the 3 jump statements. Next is chapter 9, methods or function. So what is a method or function? It is a set of executable statement to do some task or to do some specific task. It is known as method, procedure, subroutine, subprogram. These are the other terms mentioned representing method. What are the types of method? Methods are 2 types. First one is the predefined method and the one is user-defined method. Predefined means that is built-in functions that are available in the programming language. Example, if you want to use if you want to find the square root of a particular value means we will use the math class. So math, M-A-M-A-T-H, math is M is capital letter, math class we will use math.sqrtf. So this math class belongs to which library, which package, lang package. You should remember math class belongs to java.lang package. Scanner belong to java.util package. Wrapper classes belongs to java.lang package. Mathematical functions belongs to java.language package, lang package. Okay. So two types of functions. One is predefined function, another one is user defined. Predefined means it is built-in functions in the programming language, and user defined function means created by the user to carry out some specific task. When we are writing a program, it has three steps using the method. Using the method, we have three steps. First one is the function prototype. Second one is a function declaration. Function prototype. Otherwise, it is known as function declaration. Prototype or function declaration. Second one is a function definition, and third one is function calling or function invoking statement. So what are the three steps included in a program when we are using methods? First, we have to write the function declaration. Declaration, otherwise known as function prototype. Second is the definition, what the function has to do. That entire statement has to be written in that particular definition. Then in other method, if you want to call that defined method, means that is known as function calling statement or function invoking statement. Okay, why these functions or why these methods? Mainly three reasons. That's why we are using these functions to allow us to cope up with the complex problems. That means consider a program is in the larger size, then it's very difficult to identify the errors or debug. So to avoid that, use methods. That means a smaller, more easily understood task is indicated in particular methods. By that way, we can avoid that complex problems. We can find the solution for the complex problems. Second one is to hide low-level details. Hiding details means once a method is defined, it can be used in a program. That means we don't want to concern about how the method task is performed. Once we have defined, that's over. We can call anywhere by the method calling statement. In the method calling statement, we are not extracting or defining the method again, just we are calling the statement. By that way, it hides the low level details. And to reuse portions of the code, that is a very important one, reusability. That means once a method is defined, means anywhere in the program or in other program also we can access the same method by the method calling statement. So these are the main reasons why we are using the methods. So the first step of the function prototype or declaration. The syntax means access specifier, modifier, function return type. This is very important. Function name, inside the bracket list of arguments. And this is the first line of function definition. This function prototype is known as the first line of function definition, and it tells about the value, data type value returned by the method and the number of type and arguments. So this number and type of arguments together known as function signature. We can tell this is function signature. So here function signature, function prototype, otherwise it is known as function declaration. So function signature in the sense number and types of argument. Example, we are just writing void or a read of, inside the brackets we are just giving a variable integer a. So how many arguments are here? Only one argument, and which data type this one is. That is indicated by the function signature, and together this first line is known as function prototype or function definition, and this is the first line of function definition. Inside these braces we will give the statement to execute, and so this is function declaration. Other name of function declaration is known as function prototype. These are the examples: public static void show. Access specifiers means we know mainly three types: public, private, protected. That all we have discussed. Then without any access specifier, it is indicated by, or it is treated as default one. So public is an access specifier, static is the modifier, void is return type. Whenever we are writing a method, the return type should be mentioned. It's a compulsory one, return type. Which type of value should be written? That is the function prototype. Then the second one is a function definition, that is the extension of function prototype which consists of valid set of statements within the curly braces like this. If you are writing a method, here an example is here. Yeah, one more thing, in this case we have two types, two forms are there. In the method we have two forms, one is non-return type, another one is a return type. Non-return type means it is indicated by the keyword void. Void, return method name and parameter list without or with the parameter list. Void is a function data type but they never returns by any value. Function never returns any value, that is non-return type. It is indicated by the void return type. So here you can see an example, public void show of integer ABC. We have declared and just print the value. So here nothing to return. This is a void, that's why nothing to return. Another one example, this is without parameter. Here this is with the parameter. This parameter we are accessing here. Parameters or arguments passed in the brackets we are accessing here and printing the value. So this is also the same non-return type or void return type method. The next one, return statement. Return statement means used to return a value from the function definition to function call statement. Another use, it immediately exit from the method. It transfers the control back to the function call statement. How to write the return? This is a syntax. Return is a keyword. This is the keyword and you should mention the variable name. Example, x is the value variable means return x. Value is the variable means return value. So second type is return type function. That is first type is known as non-return type, that is void. Second is a return type function. We need to use the keyword return. Function uses its data type other than void. Other than void like short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean, string. These are all the data types we are using. That is indicating the return function type. Return type function, okay. Then examples here, public static int show off. So here this is an integer data type. That's why what is the return type here? Integer. What value we have to return? Integer data, is it? Yes. So return is a statement we are using to return the value of z. So here we have done the calculation and we have returned the value z. Here in this parameter, we are accessing the parameter here and doing the calculation, and we need to return the value because the return type of this method is known as int. And here modifier is there static and this is non-static. That I hope everyone remembers that static and non-static members, how will you access without static, static to static methods or static members, how we will access to non-static, and vice versa, how we will do that all we have discussed. So then third step is function invoking statement. So first one is the function declaration statement or prototype. Second one is the function definition statement. We have defined what task we have to do. Third one is the function invoking statement or it is known as calling statement. Okay, so the syntax to call a function name, then list of arguments. If we defined with the list of arguments means we have to call like that. Here an example, static int show off, int display of. How will you call? The concept of function invoking function name and the arguments semicolon. So how will you write here? Show function name. No need to write any data type or anything. Show bracket semicolon. So this is for non-parameter, is it? Then here is the parameter case, means we can write display of, just a display of. Display is the method name. Inside that parameter, what are the parameters? We can pass it directly. 3, 2.5. I am just giving the values directly here. Okay. So this is the way we will we will call that return statement or define this methods. Method defined here. This method we are calling here. It is static means, yeah, we will call inside the static void main of. Inside the main method I have called this one show off. Here one more case. This is a non-static method. So non-static method cannot be called in a static method in a direct way. For calling a non-static method to static method, what we have to do? We have to create an object. Just to consider this program, these are the program. These two method has written in the class demo. Just imagine we have written that two classes inside the class return that methods inside the class demo. So one is public static int, it's not void, yeah, integer show off. This one is defined inside this. Just assume we have defined here. Then the next method, public int display of integer x comma float y. Like this, two methods we have defined in this class. So how will you access these two methods inside the main method? The first one is the static one, second one is the non-static one. So how will you access inside the main method? Main method we are writing is public static void, that you know, static void main of, no string args of that we will write. Then here this is the main method. So how will you access? Static method means we can access directly. Show off, just we can access method system.out.println. Don't write SOP for space saving. I am just writing SOP. Don't write like this. You have to write this system.out.println. Here we just call the method show off, so it will print, is it? Because show off means it doesn't want to. It is the same static class. Both are static. This method is static. This is also static. So we don't want to create any object or anything. We can directly call static methods, can be called the static members. But in the case of non-static, this is non-static display. In this case, we need to create an object, demo d equal to new demo of that object. Just imagine we have created the object, and using the object we need to access. So d dot display of. Okay, like this we need to give the values. Okay, or just a call we need to assign in the variable. Okay, d dot display of, like this. Okay, so this is the way we will call. Function invoking means we are calling the method here. How we will call? Just a method name with a list of arguments. The next very important term is actual parameters and formal parameters. The parameters which appears in the function call statement is known as actual parameters. Example, display of 54, 2.5, like any values we are directly passing, that is actual values. Actual values are passed to the variables or arguments given in the function definition. This is the actual value we are passing to the function definition. In the function call statement, the variables, the arguments which appears in the function call statement is known as actual parameters. The actual value will copy to the variables declared or arguments given in the function definition. Second one is a formal parameter which appears in the function definition statement. That means if the example like void display of, these are the two parameters, is it? So these two parameters are C and P are known as formal parameters. 54 and 2.5 is known as actual parameters. Formal parameters, in the case arguments receives actual value from the function call statement. From this function call statement, it will receive the value and copy to. Okay, this is actual parameters and formal parameter. Actual parameters means it's in that function call statement. Formal parameters means it is in the function definition statement. You can remember like function definition is their formal parameter. Okay. Here an example. Public class name is first, and we have created that is the static method cube. Inside that float, return type is float. Here we have given a calculation part, return n. Then inside the method void first test of. Inside this we are just calling the static one. How we will call y equal to cube of x. F is x is this is the function call statement, cube of x. Instead of so a is the this is function definition, is it? So function definition in the sense formal parameter. So we can tell a is a formal parameter and x is the actual parameter. This is the way how the execution goes on. You can see here first it will execute when class Then this is the function definition. So it will comes to next function, first test of. Here it has initialized the values. Then from here cube of x, it has find the compiler found a method calling statement. So it will find the respective method definition and it here goes here and execute that statements and return the value. The return value has to be stored in the particular variable y. So this is function calling statement and function definition and function prototype. Function prototype. So this is the function prototype of function declaration, and together it is known as function definition, and this is known as function calling statements. The next topic, the method can be invoked in two manners. What are they? One is call by value and call by reference. Call by value is otherwise known as pass by value. Call by reference is otherwise known as pass by reference. Call by value means it copies the values of actual parameters into the formal parameter. Now you know what are actual parameters and formal parameters. Is that function definition? If we are giving the parameters it has given in the function definition is known as formal parameters. Function calling statement, we are just giving the parameters, is known as actual parameter. So a method can be invoked in two manners, either in function call by value or call by reference. Call by value other name is known as pass by value. Call by reference other name is known as pass by reference. So in the case of first one, call by value, that means it copies the values of actual parameters into the formal parameters. Example, actual parameters means, example we can tell display of a method that already we discussed. Yeah, display of 5 or 3 means what is the value? Display of 3 is the actual parameter, and how the formal parameter we will tell? Display of integer a. This is the formal. A is the formal parameter, is it? Yes. So this is the definition. Just assume this is the definition. So the value of actual parameter 3 is copied to a. 3 is copied to a. This is the procedure of call by value. When it copies the value of actual parameters into formal parameter, it creates its own copy of argument values and then uses. It's copying, actually it creating its own copy and using the value. So any changes made in formal arguments doesn't reflect to the actual argument, is it? Actually in the actual argument any changes, formal arguments any changes means it doesn't reflect to the actual argument. So in the call by value method, primitive data types are passed. So these are the main important points of actual call by value. Actually a method can be invoked in two manners. First one is a call by value or pass by value. Second one is a call by reference or pass by reference. Call by value means it copies the values of actual parameters into the formal parameter. That means it creates its own copy of argument values and uses. That means the changes made in the formal arguments doesn't reflect to the actual arguments. Why it doesn't reflect? Because it is creating the copy only. It is not reflecting, it is not considering the original one, it is taking the copy of the value. That's why the changes made in the formal arguments doesn't reflect to the actual arguments. And in the case of call by value method, maximum primitive data types are used. We are passing the values as primitive data types. So the second one is known as call by reference. Reference in the sense the word reference indicates location, is it? Memory address, we can tell that is a memory address. So reference means it is a memory location or the memory address. So how the call by reference? In this case, the formal parameters become the reference to the actual parameters in the calling method. But here the value is not passing. How it is working? The actual, it's not copying also. It is become the reference, it become the location, or it become the memory address to the actual parameters in the calling method. That's why called method doesn't create its own copy of original values. Rather, it refers to original values by the reference. So call by reference means the formal parameters become reference to the actual parameters in the calling method. Called method doesn't create its own copy of original values. Rather, it refers to the original values by the reference. So changes made in formal arguments are reflected in the actual arguments. So reference data type in the sense objects, arguments we are passing is object and array. This is very important. We need to learn this one. We have some programs like this. You say how we will pass this example on method. We can tell this method. Example demo. Demo is the class name. Demo add of. Demo is the class name. The same data we are using. Demo D1 or something like this. So consider this is a method. A demo is the class name. Method is the method name is add. Inside this we are passing a reference data type. What is the reference data type? Class demo. And creating an object. D1 is the object, temporary object we are creating. So this using this D1 we are calculating we are doing some calculation or we are doing some statements. So this is the way call by reference is indicating. So in the case of call by reference, if you want to know in detail, just consider demo D1 is the object name. An example for pass by value. That means your teacher purposely giving a passage with a grammatically incorrect passage is giving, and you need to correct it. That is to test your grammar. Your English teacher purposely writes grammatically incorrect passage on her sheet and gives it to you for corrections. So you copy down the given passage on your sheet and make corrections there. That is the pass by value. That means if you are doing any corrections in your answer sheet, it doesn't reflect to the teacher's copy. That's why it is pass by value. Actual parameters are copying to formal parameter, but it doesn't reflect back to the actual one, is it? But in the case of call by reference, your teacher gives you the original sheet having the grammatically incorrect passage and allows you to work upon the same sheet. Teacher is giving the original sheet. In the same sheet, you have to do the corrections. Then there will be changes. That is the actual value is changing. That means whatever corrections you make, they will be there on the original sheet. That concept is known as call by reference. Here a program, example program for call by value. Yes, method void calculate of in C. We are calculating the value and calling this calculate method in that display method. Void display of is set calculate of is that value we are just calling. This is a method call statement. So here this is the definition. So this is the formal parameter. This is the actual parameter. So you know this is the call by value. Maximum call by values means primitive data values are used. Is it? Okay, the second example call by reference. Call by reference class sample. This int is said here inside the class we have declared, that's why it is an instance variable, is it? This is an instance variable. So instance variable, then we are creating a method, class method. Static is known as static method, that is known as class method. Inside the class method we are assuming or just passing the object of the class. Sample is the class, we are just creating a temporary object S, and through the object we are accessing this instance variable. So yes, Z is accessing through the object. S dot is equal to S dot is by 10. And in the void run method, inside the run method we are just calling this calculate method here. And calculate of one object we have defined in this method definition, is it? This is the method definition. In this method definition, as the argument we passed as an object. So in the method call also we have to pass an object as the actual parameter. We need to pass an object. So for that we are creating an object inside this method, sample object1 equal to new sample of, and we are giving the value object1 dot is. This is accessing here by through this second object, object1 equal to 400. So when calculate of object1 means the control will, how it will execute, the control will goes here and instead of sample as, it will give the values, it's object1, it will refer object1 and do the process and send that value object1 dot is. So this is the concept of object by reference. In this case, you can clearly understand this is a reference. So inside the method, we are passing the arguments as an object, and inside the method call also we need to pass as an object. So this is known as called by reference. That's why through the object or by the reference, that's why original values are changing whenever actual arguments are updating, is it? Yes. This is the example for call by reference. Access specifiers or access modifiers or access levels or visibility roles. These are all known in the single way, access specifiers. It determines whether a method or a data variable can be accessed by another method in another class or subclass. It controls access to the members of a class from within a Java program. Java provides mainly three types of access specifier. First one is the private, protected, public. If there is no keyword, no access specifier is indicated in the declaration format, then it will treat as a default one. So private in the sense it can accessible only within that class where it is declared that particular class only it can access. Class or method or scope wherever it is. Protected in the sense it allows the class itself, subclasses and all classes in the same package. Public means it's accessible by any other class anywhere. Default is otherwise known as friendly or package access. Members with no access specifier are said to have default access. That is, it can be accessible to classes in the same package but not by the classes in other packages even if these are subclasses. So these are the access specifiers already we have learned. The next is the function overloading. Otherwise it is known as method overloading. A function name having several definitions that are differentiable by the number or arguments or number or types of arguments is known as function overloading. That means a function having same name, function with the same name but multiple or different, not multiple, different arguments is known as function overloading. Function with same name but different arguments is known as function overloading. So we can tell function name having several definitions that are differentiable by the number or types of arguments. You remember types and number and types of arguments together known as function signature that we discussed. So whenever function signature should be different. A function name is same, function signature is different. Example, area method is using to calculate area of circle, area of rectangle. How will you write in the method void area of? Method name is same in both void area. Area is the method name. Here this argument list is changing. Sometimes it having only one argument or different number of two arguments like this. So this function signature is changing in the function overloading. This type of program method is known as overloading. This concept is known as overloading. Method having same name but different arguments is known as method overloading.